John Sell with George Power. It was pick a past chairman day because Greg is unavailable. And you got the short straw and got me. So it is not, those of you that are thinking, you know, this is 2013, we went backwards. No, it's 2016. It's just past chairman day today. Anyway, today, at this time, I'd like to call John Shearer with Computer Helper to come forward, and he's going to lead us in our invocation and our pledge.
Let's stand. Okay? Let's pray. Dear God, you have set your glory above the heavens, and from there you rule the universe. You're an awesome God. You're a holy and just, and yet you love each one of us because you're an awesome God. Out of that love for us, you have blessed us with many blessings. You have blessed us by providing our resolution for our sin problem by letting Jesus pay that penalty. What an awesome God you are. You have blessed us with let us being in the United States of America by letting us live in this great state of Georgia and by letting us live in Douglas County. Here we're free to do the things we ought to do. We have the freedom to worship and serve you and to serve others. As we serve and lead in this various roles, we ask you to give us guidance and wisdom. Cause us to turn to your book of guidance and wisdom. Turn our hearts to you and to each other and to the community. Please give each one here the desire and the deserved fruit of their labor. We thank you, God. What an awesome God you are. We ask in the name of Jesus because that glorifies you. Amen. Let's give pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, I'm going to invite our sponsor, Chris Pumphrey, who is the Executive Director of the Douglas County Economic Development Authority and a 2016 Chairman's Club member, to come forward for a few remarks.
Good morning, everyone, or afternoon, everyone. How's everybody doing today? Awesome, awesome. Glad to be here before you today. Glad to be a sponsor of today's luncheon. It's a great honor for us to sponsor this luncheon, to welcome all of our partners here in the community and show how much we're committed to the economic vitality and growth of Douglas County. So I just want to share a few things about what our office has accomplished. You've got some documents on your table that kind of talk about some of our activity over the past year, our focus on recruitment of companies here to the area, support of our local businesses here in the area, and a huge proponent of what we do is focusing on workforce, getting people to work, doing our best to help fill the positions that employers have available. Also want to thank the elected officials representing both the city and the county for your continued support of what we do in economic development. And also would like to acknowledge the board members here representing our Development Authority Board and also the City Development Authority Board. So if any of you are here, so we could all recognize you and thank you for your efforts and commitment, just please stand for just a brief moment. So we've had a focused effort over the last year on more than just what's the next project announcement. As I mentioned earlier, it's new business recruitment, it's existing industry expansion and support. It's the policies that help support and foster growth here in the community, and its workforce issues, marketing, and film as well. So we're doing a number of things here in the county. But in order to achieve all of that, it requires collaboration. And so we depend on all of our partners, from the utilities, from the governments, the different departments within the governments, folks in the community, outside of the community, to really help us grow. Last year, we set out to accomplish some big goals. We announced the expansion of Google, the location of West Rock. We welcomed Coloplast. We hosted a number of events for our existing businesses, entertained the development community, showcasing our assets, and worked tirelessly on making a giant step forward, and that was approving the Weston Foxhall project. This year, we've moved really forward on collaboration. We took a group of leaders to Franklin, Tennessee, to learn about that community and how we can bring some of their ideas back here. And also, we are working right now on, we just hired Kimley Horn to institute a master plan on the east side of Sweetwater Creek State Park. And they're going to be doing a master plan of that area covering roughly 1,000 acres on looking at how can we foster new quality development to Douglas County, achieving all the types of development that we all want. And we see that as the beginning of doing these master plans throughout the community. So we're working really hard on these things, and what you're going to learn about today from our speaker is further about collaboration and how important collaboration is to the vitality of our community in talking about the region. So our speaker this morning is Miss Ann KAISER, and I've had the pleasure of getting to know Ann and working alongside her and really helping our region grow and move forward. Ann serves as Vice President of Community and Economic Development for Georgia Power, leading the company's efforts to recruit new companies to Georgia and helping existing industries grow. The department has been internationally recognized as one of the top economic development organizations in the world, bringing 126,000 jobs and $26.5 billion in capital investment to Georgia over the past decade alone. Ann is also responsible for the company's initiatives to improve the marketability of communities throughout the state, which includes support of public education and workforce development. She serves on many boards, including the advisory board of the Georgia Department of Economic Development and the board of the Technical College System of Georgia. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome Ann KAISER.
Well, before I begin my official comments, my hat's off to the Chamber of Diplomats. It reminded me of when I was the president of the Rome Floyd Chamber, and we called them ambassadors. And you guys really make the engine run in your community, so thank you for the work that you're doing in that arena. It's very, very, very important and good stuff, so thank you very much. How many of you were born in Douglas County? Ah, okay. So we've got some transplants, all right. How many of you have been to Youngstown, Ohio? Mayor, you can't raise your hand. Oh, yikes, Mayor, there's more than you. Oh, dear. Okay. How many have been to Allentown, Pennsylvania? Oh, yikes. Okay. Well, y'all are going to really test my hypothesis here today. So hold on to that question as we go through this conversation together. Thank you for giving me the gift of your time. You could be in lots of other places, and you probably have a huge mental rolling list that's going on, so I very much appreciate you being here today. As co-chair of the Atlanta Regional Economic Competitiveness Strategy, which is a mouthful, I was asked to come and share some of the work that we're doing in that arena with you. But actually, I'm going to share a lot more. I'm going to talk to you about the vital role that Douglasville and Douglas County plays. I'm going to shine the light on your leadership through this great metropolitan Atlanta area. So it's going to be a lot more than just the ARC. So I would ask that whatever your form of transportation is, get your jet engines revved up, because I got a lot of ground to cover in a very short span of time. The Regional Economic Competitiveness Strategy is well underway, and the role of the Atlanta Regional Commission is one of a convener. And in and of itself, it really can't do anything. It needs all of us in this room and many beyond us. For those of you who don't work with the Atlanta Regional Commission, they are a planning and intergovernmental agency, if you will, or institution that's been in business for well over 65 years. And they focus on issues such as aging, affordable housing, and transportation, as your commissioner, your chairman well knows. And the economic competitiveness strategy actually began 4 years ago under the leadership of a gentleman by the name of Craig Lesser. And it was under the premise of how do we retain the competitiveness of this greater area. Atlanta and the 12 counties that ARC represent have incredible assets, and how do we retain those? So it started out with about 50 participants. It's up to well over 1,000 today, and that is engaging their voices, their opinions, their time, and their hard work. Now, ARC supports it, and it lives there, but it is the work of Chris and 1,000 other people that actually make it happen. And so why did we even begin this journey? And you're probably sitting there going, why does this matter to me? It's to engage the entire community, and it's to make the city that we call home better. So that's the why behind this. There are 4 main focus areas. The first being, as you would expect, education, and that's chaired by Ann Kramer. And if any of y'all have dealt in the education space, she is the queen of education and awesome. Prosperous, which is led by Chris, and he's done some phenomenal work, and I will get into detail on that in just a minute. Then there's the Livable, that's led by Jim Durrett, who is the executive director for the Buckhead Community Improvement District. And it's a little squishier, but it actually is what a lot of companies are looking for right now. And then finally, Innovation, which is chaired by Nelson Chu of Kinetic Ventures and Jennifer Scher of the Metro Atlanta Chamber. So let me just walk you through a couple of accomplishments, and I need you to pay close attention, because at one point in this discussion I'm going to tell you to send Chris or Breezy an email and sign up. So if education is what you're interested in, this group has been nonstop. And in fact, tomorrow they have a meeting at the Loudermilk Center at 3 o'clock. And they bring parties in from all over the 12 county metropolitan area, and they are very committed to raising the awareness and the advocacy of public education, which, as you all well know, that is the essential to healthy business. So it's just critical. The Georgia Partnership for Excellence in Education presented the economics of education to local governments in Metro Atlanta, tailoring the data to each region, each area. And what may not resonate or be as clear, but it is phenomenal that these 12 counties are coming together and working in these 4 specific key issues on behalf of the greater good. They added an economics of education session to GMA for those of you who participate in that. They are very focused on cradle to career best practices and work with an institution called Learn for Life, which is aligned with the United Way. Those of you involved with the United Way, sharing best practices for the first time ever across all school districts. Yeah, thank you. That is no small feat. It sounds like simple words on the paper, but it is an incredible task. And then they're focusing on distressed neighborhoods like Thomasville Heights, Norcross Mobile Home Park, places where they again can raise the awareness, raise the engagement. And they've established an INAV site. Now those of you who are employers, listen to this. This is through the Metro Atlanta Chamber, a free job posting site that automatically sends your job postings to the 33 colleges in the state of Georgia. So if you're looking for an extraordinarily affordable way to recruit talent, that's one of your key answers. So again, if education, sign up, send Chris, send Breezy an email. Tomorrow we have a meeting at 3 o'clock at the Loudermilk Center. The prosperous, you need to know how well Chris represents this greater area for you on a statewide level and on a regional level. If you think education is a challenge to bring all parties together, economic development is an enormous challenge. And he has created a regional marketing alliance. We now share calendars, We now share events. We are working boundary-free. And that doesn't just happen. So thank you very, very much. Again, remember the Youngstown question. Because part of what he's also done is the Aerotropolis, and I suspect most of you are familiar with that. But you talk about an asset that's underutilized. It's one of our top 3 assets in recruiting and growing businesses, our airport. Well, what's happening around that area? And the creation of that district and growing that area and restoring economic vitality is essential. And Chris and his team are help leading that. The Livable Group, for those of you who are into the outdoors and the quality of life and some of the wonderful things you have here, the Wind Down Wednesdays, your Juneteenth that just occurred this past weekend, that's really what falls under the livable category. And it involves placemaking, affordable housing, and the implementation of resources. So one of the things that they're working on is creating across the metro region activity centers that are designed to be attractive to all walks of life, be that the Beltline with the 11,000 members of the Lantern Parade, or again, examples like what's right here in your backyard with your Wind Down Wednesdays. They're developing bike ped districts so that you can get off of MARTA and be able to ride your bike and be easily access to the places that you live, work, and go to school in. And then they're preparing the communities for aging housing for the aging, which is not something that's at the top of everybody's list, but it's one certainly to think about. And also to look at inclusive housing, the notion that as we go into areas and improve the neighborhoods, that we don't make them beyond affordable to all of us trying to buy our first and second homes. The 4th committee is innovation. So all of you that are entrepreneurs out there, that's the toughest one. We're trying to engage more entrepreneurs. We're trying to create greater access to capital. And so they are creating a playbook, if you will, that shows the intersections across the city and across the region, so that if you've got a business that you're starting, if you want to know where the capital is, who to reach out to, this is what this team has tackled. Again, another Herculean task for these 4 committees and these 1,000 participants. So I want you to know they are alive and well. You've got great representation in your county, in your cities, and you have the opportunity to be very involved at the level of degree you want to be involved. So send Chris, send Breezy emails, we will sign you up. Now why? So you may be sitting there going, so what? You know, why does this even really matter to me? I live right here and that's what matters, and I certainly understand that. I'll tell you why it matters, and I get this question 9 times out of 10 when I'm on the road in different communities. Tell me what the secret sauce is to economic development. Tell me what the silver bullet is. Tell me what's going to get the next Google. It is regionalism. It is collaboration. It is Allentown versus Youngstown. It is Douglasville and Douglas County and the very work you're doing. That's why it matters. Existing business and new business looking at this area, they want to know that we are one region. And urban success to thrive and continue will be really, truly based on that. And you're essential to that. You know that. But let me remind you, let me hold a mirror up for a second, because you may not really know how good you are. We need your intellect. We need your wisdom. We need you to make this region even greater. You've got one-of-a-kind assets, the 2nd largest state park in the state with Sweetwater Park. You've got beauty throughout this county, both in your towns and in your neighborhoods and across the county lines. You've got one of the best educations in the state. You got the STEM Academy at Lithia Springs, recognized as the STEM School of the Year by TAG, which is the Technical Association of Georgia, the lead technology group for the state of Georgia. You had the Georgia Teacher of the Year, the National Administrator of the Year. You've got Mercer University and West Georgia Tech. Those are great assets. Not all communities have those. Believe me, not all communities have those great assets. You've got major employers, Wellstar, Silverline, American Red Cross, Google. I mean, they are the industry of today and the future, and they look to this community for your collaboration, your leadership, and your cooperation. McMaster Carr, AP Lighting. You've got great access to markets. If I put a chart up and showed you the top 10 factors that site consultants use to select a region to invest in, it starts with workforce, and we know we've got it in this area, and then it is followed by access. And you've got it. Hartsfield-Jackson, just 11 miles away, Norfolk Southern Intermodal Facility, Interstate 20. You've got the talent. You've got 70% of your workforce willing to work all over the 12-county metro area, even probably broader than that. You're an employment center. You're growing. You've got excellent leadership. And just this recently, Friday, you had the Game Changers, 45 people from all over the state coming in to help you study key issues. And Breezy tells me you got 15 of you that are dedicated to keeping that work going forward. And a mission statement and a 501c3. Y'all, those matter. Those matter a lot. You've got the civic engagement. So what are the next steps? What's going to happen from ARC? Y'all are going to be sending us emails. Education is going to continue to focus on existing work to recruit and retain and grow the talent in this region. The Prosperous is going to solidify further that marketing, the regional marketing alliance, and keep that very alive and strong. The Livable Group is working on a position paper on zoning and subdivision regulations to again support affordable housing. The innovation is underway on their playbook. So my call to action for you is to become involved. Actually, you can send me an email too. I should have been fair on that. I want you to capitalize on your assets. Again, I have the wonderful privilege of seeing across the whole state, and you've got some unbelievable assets here to be very, very proud of. Your beauty, your historic downtown, your Sweetwater Park, your Serenbe. My gosh, communities would kill to have a Serenbe. 1% land mass, 3% of your tax digest. Awesome. Your proximity to the airport, to the greater community, your talent, the Google presence, your leadership, again, your regionalism, South Fulton Parkway, Capps Ferry Corridor, Aerotropolis, Foxhall. That is going to be a nameplate, a transformational element for this part of the state and for the state at large. Those are great assets. And it is really, again, what companies, both existing, when they make their decisions of where to invest and where new companies, that's what they're looking for. So I started with my question about Youngstown and Allentown. And you can, we can test my hypothesis since a lot of you actually were very familiar with it. I was recently at 2 different conferences where the premise was that to sustain urbanization, which is where everything is really headed, you had to be open and you had to see your assets, you had to collaborate, you had to create patterns of intersection and places for conversation. And this author, the name of the book is Why the Garden Club Could Not Save Youngstown. And he studied both communities, and they are historically very, very similar, both in the denominations that settled there, the origin of their ancestors, and then we all know them, or at least most of us know them as steel centers and industrial centers. And they were extraordinarily prominent and successful up until about the 70s. And as you know, the economics changed, the industry changed from large industrial to an information economy. and they hit the hard times and they hit the Rust Belt era. And this is what this book is studying and what it talks about. And what it demonstrates is that Youngstown pulled up its drawbridge and decided it could fix it like this, that they could address their issues in a closed fashion and in a singular fashion. Where Allentown reached across its rivers, they actually had a hill-to-hill campaign, a bridge-to-bridge campaign, and worked very hard because they had the fabric of civic engagement, and they had places for conversation and patterns of a reason to be together. And I would propose that you, as the leaders in this room, represent that very, very same opportunity. And so that is my challenge to you. I will stand corrected. The mayor has made me aware that Youngstown is well underway. So we'll see again to see how these communities are changing. But if you look at a beautiful place that you live in, you work in, and you lead in, you've got that true opportunity and you've got it underway. And I applaud you and I thank you for your time today.
Thank you so much, Ann. Your words were spot on and exactly where we're headed as a community. As I mentioned earlier, we took a group of leaders from around the community to Franklin, Tennessee to learn, what they've done and how can we bring that back here. We had the wonderful presentations that came from the Game Changers about some phenomenal ideas as well. And one of the things that we came out of that leadership trip with was we need to do a strategic plan and vision for our community. Where do we want to go? How do we want to get there? So to that point, we put an RFP together. We sent it out to all those leaders who went on that trip and a number of partners from around the room, around the community, who were all interested in kind of helping fund this strategic vision. I'm happy we have a goal of $165,000 to raise to fund that plan. I'm proud to say we're right at about $105,000 today. So if anybody else feels like they want to write a check to the community's future, we'll gladly accept it. But it's all about bringing all the leaders together to say, here's what we want for Douglas County, and here's how Douglas County fits within the broader region of the Atlanta region. The region's supposed to grow by 2.2 million people. Where are they going to go? We want them to come here, right? We want the business to come here, but we want to do it in a quality and managed way. We don't want to have to sit at a red light as it turns 3 or 4 times because we hadn't managed properly. We want to manage properly. We want to grow the right way, grow in a quality and sustainable way. So as Ann also alluded to, why do we need to know about the region and what have you? And I think she eloquently defined why we need to. But there's some core things that we need to do here locally, and the way that it gets there is for our office is economic development, and there's been a lot of history in our community about with our economic development and various offices trying to do economic development and competing and really kind of putting a black eye in a lot of sectors about doing business in Douglas, but it takes leadership in order to come together and say, we need to make some changes. We need to make some improvements here in our community. And with that is how do we bring our economic development under one roof with one voice, one message behind saying, here's our plan, here's how we're going to execute that plan, and here's our group of team members to help fulfill it. It's been a yeoman's work. I have to give a tremendous amount of thanks to Breezy Straighten and Lisa Summers for all the hard work that they do in our office. But it's just 3 of us, and there's a lot more to do. But we've got a phenomenal board that has supported us over a number of years, a phenomenal chairman that has supported us, and also a new mayor who has brought a breath of fresh air to our community and economic development. So with that, I'd like to ask Ron Wilson and Doug Dean if they would come up to the stage. Probably want to go this way. These two gentlemen are the chairs of the Development Authority for Douglas County and the City Development Authority. They are the two individuals who are tasked with ensuring that that we do economic development the right way. And they're volunteers. They volunteer their time. They've got full-time jobs, but they're firmly committed to this county and this community developing in the right way. So, everyone's been asking us, well, what's the big announcement? The big announcement is this, is that we now have an agreement between both the City Development Authority and the Douglas County Economic Development Authority that says we are firmly committed that we're going to have one economic development organization that represents Douglas County. So it's a tremendous thanks to their leadership, but it's also the utmost tremendous thanks to our elected officials, our Board of Commissioners, our City Council. And I would like to welcome their great leaders, Mayor Rochelle Robinson and Chairman Tom Worthan, to also come to the stage as well. So what we have here is the agreement that basically says that all the economic development efforts of our community are going to fall under one roof, and that is 8512 Bowden Street. And the two boards will still remain intact. However, we'll have one economic development office that represents the two in recruitment, in existing industry support, in marketing, in the policies that really help move our community forward. And with that, we've done somewhat of a proclamation for both the city and the county. So we put these boards together, and I'll read it real quick. And these will reside in City Hall and reside in the courthouse. And it's our statement to say that we're committed to working together. We're committed to making our community a great place. And it reads as this: economic development is a process by which a community creates an environment for businesses to locate, grow, and thrive. The goal of economic development is to diversify the tax base, increase quality jobs in our community, and improve the quality of life by encouraging all citizens to be consumers of our economy through economic opportunity. The City of Douglasville and Douglas County are committed to working effectively and efficiently for the taxpayers of our community. In the spirit of working together, we have decided to have a unified voice for economic development. As of June 21st, 2016, the Douglas County Economic Development Authority will represent all parts of Douglas County for economic development purposes. We are committed to continued smart growth and are excited about the future of our community. That will be signed by Mayor Rochelle Robinson and Chairman Tom Worthan.
Thank you so much, Chris. It's such a blessing to be in this community over 20 years, and I'm so excited to have been through this journey. And I will let you know that it is a collaborative effort with everyone. It's been such a joy working with the City Development Authority, the County Development Authority, and our leader, our Mr. Tom Worthan, the chairman. I couldn't do it by myself. He is the leader of the community, and I appreciate his friendship. And you can't have collaboration unless you have it together. And Mr. Chairman has really led the way, and I thank you so much for your leadership and being such a great example. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Mayor. And Ann talked about the many assets we have here in Douglas County, and that is so true. and we're so proud of those assets. One thing we didn't have was collaboration between the city and county governments. We have that now, and I am so proud to work with our new mayor, and not only the mayor and the chairman of the Board of Commissioners, our councilmen and our Board of Commissioners are all on the same page. We have one thing we'd like to do, guys. You know, the state of Georgia is the best state in the nation to do business. We want to make Douglas County the best of the 159 counties to do business. Thank you all so much.
And you can sign whenever you want. You got to sign the document. But once again, thank you for allowing us this opportunity, Callie, for allowing us this opportunity to have this moment in front of you all. It truly is the beginning of a lot of work ahead. We're like I said, we're moving forward on a strategic plan for the community. We're working towards being all on the same page, achieving goals, and making Douglas County the best place in the state to do business. I literally landed here at 9:46 this morning at Hartsfield and drove straight up here, but had a wonderful time talking with companies from all over the globe that were interested in doing business in the United States, and being able to partner with Team Georgia about why Georgia is the best state to do business, and partnering with the Metro Chamber on why we have we're the economic engine of the Southeast, and then being able to tout the assets that are here within our community. So we'll continue to do things like that, and this enables us that platform to continue those efforts and really make our community great. So thank you.
At this time, I'd like to ask MAHDL AL-HUSSEINI from TEDx to come forward and speak to us about something exciting. He said it wasn't an announcement, but it's something exciting. So this is part of our next generation here in Douglasville, so give it up for MAHDL.
Thank you, John, and thank you all for lending me your ears today. I'd like to begin by saying this. We are the young people. We are the young people who seek to make a change in our community. We are the young people who seek to spend our lives serving the public in some form or fashion. We are the young people who organize annual events, who write columns in the hometown newspaper, who award scholarships to fellow students and help them strengthen their communication skills. We are the young people who exist in our shared community, who are born and who are raised and who want to continue to live right here in Douglasville and in Douglas County, in our shared community. My name is MAHDL AL-HUSSEINI. I'm here today on behalf of my team of 16 high school and college students who organize TEDx Douglasville, an annual nonprofit event, as well as on behalf of so many young people who are dedicated to bettering their communities each and every single day. Over the past 2 years at TEDx Douglasville, we've hosted 2 events. We've partnered with 13 different local nonprofits and businesses. We've totally, overall, assisted 44 volunteers in bettering their community, as well as engaged with 300 community members over the course of 12 speakers. Videos from TEDx Douglasville 2015, which was held right here in this conference center, have been seen on YouTube 700,000 times. Now that's all good and that's all great, but we've noticed something along the way that we would love to share with you all as community leaders. The path to civic action for young people isn't always easy, and as a young person, I wish to have your support as we continue to do great things right here in Douglasville. And we can do that by changing and reworking the conversation just a little bit. Not just to ask you all to do more because you've done some amazing things, but also from one young person to another. I think we can all agree we have an amazing amount of young talent right here in Douglas County. So how can we rework that conversation? Well, the conversation between one young person to another, especially one who thinks about leaving Douglasville and Douglas County, should go a little bit like this. Roam if you must, but come home once you've seen enough. That Douglasville, yeah, Douglasville, is dope. And if you disagree, that's fine, but don't sulk and don't cry. Be the change you want to see in your community right here and right now. Now, the conversation between civic-minded young people and community leaders should go a little bit like this. We're young and naive and hopeful and prideful. But given the right environment and a bit of direction, listen to this. We're going to make a difference with a bit of selection in Douglasville. Not in that community, not in the one down the street, and not in 5 years, and not in 10 years, but right here, right now. We are the young people who stand at the edge of the shore, enthusiastic and exuberant. We are the young people who stand at the edge of the shore, ready to link hands with the wise and expedient. So let us continue to work together between young people and community leaders in the hope of developing and continuing to develop a better city, a better county, and a better community. Thank you very much.
Is everybody here ready to engage? Or do we need a couple more call to actions? We can have a couple more people come up, but I think you get the message that we want you engaged in our community to make it better. Thank you, Maddie, very much. The Chamber Golf Classic will be held on Friday, September 23rd at Mirror Lake Golf Club. Sponsorship opportunities and player registration is now available on the Chamber website, or you can contact Stacy Garman at the Chamber. Stacy, where are you? Right there. So sign up quick. Sponsorships will go quickly. We'd like to have, what, at least 2 sponsors at every hole, plus all of our gold and platinum and bejeweled sponsorships taken care of as well. So the next networking event will be our Comcast Business After Hours, which will be sponsored by Wellstar Douglas Hospital, and that'll be held Thursday, June 20th at the hospital. We hope to see you there. Okay, once again, we want to thank the Douglas County Economic Development Authority for sponsoring today's luncheon, and to Greystone Power for their naming sponsorship for the year. Thank you all for coming, and have a great day.